President Cyril Ramaphosa is holding talks with his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, in Nairobi. The two heads of state are looking to strengthen bilateral relations. President Ramaphosa's state visit will include a business forum focusing on trade and investment between Kenya and South Africa. The two leaders are also expected to discuss a possible relaxation of visa requirements for Kenyans visiting South Africa. Well, joining me in studio is Khayelihle Khumalo to unpack the importance of the state visit to Kenya. A very good afternoon, Kaya. Thank you very much for joining us. So, what would you say is the significance of President Ramaphosa visiting Kenya this time around?
Well, Nompu, an absolutely important state visit. You know that, President Ruto took over just recently after the elections in Kenya, and quite a very important economy in East Africa, the geographical location of Kenya in terms of the access, but also it is a gateway to East Africa. Apart from that, we do know that these two countries do share their aspirations in terms of intra-Africa trade. When you look at the continental free trade area, South Africa and Kenya are quite important in terms of making sure that they enable this project to succeed.
So, of course, you've touched on some of the elements and you generated us a very nice introduction there. What do you expect to be the key areas of discussion?
Undoubtedly, the issue of the visa regime. In fact, the Kenyans call the South Africa's visa process very restrictive. South Africans, they can easily go to Nairobi without paying for a visa, but for the Kenyans, they need to cough up quite a lot of shillings to come to South Africa. Apart from that, we do know that you have also quite a number of South African companies based in Kenya supporting their economy. So it's quite important in that context that the two leaders will be looking at addressing those issues. But a very main issue, Nompu, is around the uneven trade. Currently, the trade is very much skewed in favor of South Africa. So Kenya is trying to correct that. In fact, to quote former President Kenyatta, when he came to South Africa last year, he emphasized the issue of trying to address that trade imbalance so that, we can see a lot of goods coming all the way to Southern Africa.
Yes. So that's on the bilateral front. At the wider Africa front, of course, there's the issue of peace and security.
A very critical issue, Nompu. We know that recently South Africa, we saw the Ethiopian talks being held in South Africa. So one of the very central mediators was former President Kenyatta of Kenya. So they do support the peace efforts in the continent. The current situation in the DRC, Kenya is also trying to mediate and really getting the interlocutors to find a peace, a long-lasting peace settlement in the eastern part of the DRC. It's quite important because these two leaders, President Ruto and Ramaphosa, do understand that for Africa to develop, a main prerequisite is peace.
Absolutely. So you touched on the trade relations. There's going to be a business forum happening today. What can we expect from that?
It's going to be a very important opportunity for the South African entities based in Nairobi in terms of tapping into the new opportunities, but also for the companies as well in Kenya to see South Africa as a potential area, especially because recently the two leaders, President Ramaphosa and Ruto, they were part of those climate change talks in Sharm el-Sheikh. So the issues of looking at energy, a very important issue for the continent, where you have all these inequities in terms of the energy challenges facing the two countries.
Absolutely. Khayelihle, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. My colleague there, Khayelihle Khumalo, just giving us a sense of the significance of the President Ramaphosa's state visit to Kenya.